Welcome to Morning Devotion with Ken Gurley. Devotions designed to inspire you on your daily walk with God. Here's your host, Ken Gurley.
I can't believe it. We made it. It is Friday morning. Good to see each and every one of you. You always shock me. You guys just shock me every time you just start joining in. I shouldn't be shocked. That's just who you are. But it's always just a joy to see each of you just say, hello, everybody. It's good to see you, Roy. Roy, you got a new photo there on your profile. I noticed that. Roy's always the first one. Well, I can't say always. 80% of the times, Roy's the first one that I see on YouTube. And then I see a bunch of others on YouTube. And then finally the Facebookers start showing up. So thank you for being a part of this. Great subject today, this Friday, the cure for a faltering faith. And we're going to be looking at Habakkuk 2, the opening few verses. If you have your Bible, you're welcome to turn there. If not, no worries, no worries, no judgment here. We're not looking around the morning devotion family to see who has their Bible out and to see if you're a purist and you have a printed Bible, in your hands, a black Bible, KJV. No judgment here. No judgment. But if you have your Bibles, that's where we're going to be. Thank you for being a part of Morning Devotion family. And Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. And share this with others. This is a subject that I think we need to explore. We need to talk about. It's taboo in certain circles. You shouldn't talk about this. But I want to lift up this man named Habakkuk. Know very little about him. His name means embrace. Some say that Habakkuk was the miraculous son born to the Shunammite woman. Others say he's the watchman of Israel, referred to by Isaiah. Some say even that Habakkuk is a pseudonym for Daniel of the Old Testament. What we do know is that Habakkuk's faith went through a trial. He had a trial of confidence, a crisis of confidence. In fact, Habakkuk is to the Old Testament what Thomas is to the Gospels. He's the skeptic of the Old Testament, the doubter. Don't you want to know more about him? This is an interesting guy to me. It's just interesting. When you see this guy, Larry, Tom, good to see you. It's just, I kind of like these guys. I kind of like these guys that just voice how they really feel. You read the verses in the opening chapter of Habakkuk, and it's obvious. Our friend Habakkuk is bewildered. He just cannot reconcile his faith with his circumstances. Have you ever been there? Yeah. What I believe and what is happening in my life and what's going on. He was bewildered. You start reading things like, well, if there's a God in heaven, why are things like they are? Why doesn't God judge those who deal so treacherously? Where is God? Why doesn't God speak up when the righteous suffer? Why are the innocent like fish caught in the net of the guilty? And that's the opening chapter, folks. That is the opening chapter. Habakkuk asks the questions which I think have been asked for generations by saved, unsaved, wise, unwise. Where is God? Where is God? What we're seeing here is a faltering faith. There was probably the most famous Puritan, or the last Puritan in the United States, was named Lyman Beecher. Lyman had two famous children. He had Henry Ward Beecher, which was the pastor of the first mega church in America. It was in Brooklyn. Abraham Lincoln called Henry Ward Beecher the most famous man in America. Excellent biography by that same title by Debbie Applegate on Henry Ward Beecher. But Lyman Beecher had a second famous child, and her name was Harriet Beecher Stowe. And when Lincoln met her, he said, "Is this not the woman who began the Civil War?" Indeed. She wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin and probably exposed the plight of slaves in her own way to Northerners, to Americans, and they realized what was happening. And in Uncle Tom's Cabin, here's what she says. She puts this in the mouth of one of the slaves. "They buy us, they sell us, they make trade of our heart's blood grown in tears." And here we go. "And God lets them." He does. God lets them. Yeah. In other words, where is God? This is a faltering faith. Or what about a victim of a highway robbery in one of Dickens' story? He lays bleeding in the streets one night when somebody finds him and rolls him over. And when the injured man looks in the night sky and sees the thousands of stars, he asks the question, whose eyes are they? If they're the angel's eyes, why do they look down here and see good people hurt and only wink and sparkle all night long? Why, God? This is evidence of a faltering faith. Why, God? It's Habakkuk's question. And can we just say it? It's everyone's questions at times in our lives. Why, God? Why? Why did this happen this way? Why is this going on in my life? But it's in answering that question, people down through the ages have come up with many different philosophies and ways to respond to life. One response, carnal though it may be, is fatalism. That, well, it's just fate. The world's going to continue on no matter what we do. It's a roll of the dice. It is what it is. Que sera, sera. Fatalism. Then there is another philosophy called nihilism. Oh, well, we really don't exist at all. We're nothing. We're just figment of our imaginations. Nothing matters. Nihilism is summarized in a word of our generation, whatever. Then another response to faltering faith in a carnal sense is sensualism. Eat, drink, be merry, for tomorrow we die. If that's all there is, let's keep dancing. Let's keep partying. And sensualism, hedonism. Then there is materialism. That, oh well, since you can't explain anything, you might as well just accumulate as much as you can. That our life consists in what we possess. But that's not really a great answer for a faltering faith. Habakkuk said, where is God? Why, God, do you let this happen? What is happening? That's opening chapter. But then you get into the second chapter, and it's as if God gives Habakkuk a remedy, a therapy for doubt and skepticism, a cure for a faltering faith. Habakkuk didn't try to answer all of those questions. He said, I don't understand, but when I don't understand, I stand. I love that. I stand. When I don't understand, I just stand. I will stand watch. I will tarry. I will wait with patience until God answers me. The cure for a faltering faith. One of the greatest qualities of perseverance and patience that we can possess. I'm going to give you words here. I'm going to give you language for it. We all do this, but probably we've never had the vocabulary or the language to explain what we are doing. I want to call it one of the greatest triumphs of faith. Here we go. Is two words: suspended judgment. I know what I see around me. I know what the circumstances say. But faith has yet to make a judgment. I'm going to suspend judgment. Oh, Dee, I like this. April, I like this. I know it seems that the enemy has won, but I'm going to suspend judgment. Think of that. We call it Good Friday, when the sun went down in Calvary and Jesus died. At the moment, it would have seemed like he was less than victorious. But if you will suspend judgment for 3 days, you're going to find out that God was up to something. I feel that. Oh, Donette, I feel like God is up to something. One of the greatest triumphs of faith is not just speaking to mountains that they be moved, but when they don't move, in your mind and heart to say, I'm not defeated. I'm giving it time. God is up to something. You see, the cure for a faltering faith are these 3 words. Here is the cure. I'm going to make it real simple, real basic. Here's the cure for faltering faith. Wait and see. When Habakkuk was bombarded with questions, he suspended judgment. He got into a wait and see mode. I'm going to let things unfold. I'm going to let things crystallize. I'm going to let things gel. I'm going to wait on God a while. Oh, how did he do that? Verse 1 is where the cure is found here. And Habakkuk becomes very possessive when his faith falters. He said, when I don't understand, I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand upon my watch, and I'm going to set upon the tower. And I'm going to wait, and I'm going to see. A great Hebrew scholar translated these words as, on my watchtower will I stand. I will take up my post on the rampart. In his time of questioning, the prophet became possessive. He said, I have a duty. He became possessive of what God had called him to do. I'm going to keep my watch. It may be a faithless time, but I'm going to be faithful. Are we doing all right? We doing all right out there? This is a cure. I'm going to do what I can. It's in the winter season. Honeybees live on the honey they've stored in the summer. So too must people of faith live on past knowledge and past experiences for present difficulties. In the days of gloom and the days of trial, we have to sing the past songs of gladness. Like a 1,000-piece puzzle slowly taking shape, God is putting the pieces together. Habakkuk, what are you doing? I'm just leaving the puzzle alone. Well, Habakkuk, there's some pieces missing. There are. But what about all those pieces that have fallen into place? What about the goodness of God that I've seen? Should I throw the whole thing away because there's a few pieces I still don't understand? I still can't comprehend. Should I throw away all of my gold in yesterday simply because I can't understand my gray tomorrows? No. I'm going to hold to what I do understand. I've been called to watch. I'm going to get to my post. Paul spoke of holding faith in good conscience. Holding faith. Faith must be held. And when it falters, hold it steady. To the watchtower. To the watchtower. Donette, CT, to the watchtower. I'm going to pray. I'm going to fast. I'm going to study the word. I'm going to teach. I'm going to sing. I'm going to witness. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to stand when I don't understand. I stand. I want you to notice the vigilance that Habakkuk had. Is this all right? Is this all right, Rod, Jackie? I want you to notice the vigilance he had. Not only must a faltering faith have a sense of possessiveness. I'm going to set my watch. I know I'm going to go to my post of duty. But Habakkuk is the supreme example of the vigilance of faltering faith. Here's what he says. Okay, I will watch to see what he says to me. I will watch to see what he says to me. And their spiritual vision, spiritual understanding are so entwined. I will watch to see. The anticipation of faith, looking through the eyes of faith. I will watch to see what God has to say. There is a power in that. You've heard me describe in Pilgrim's Progress when hopeful and Christian leave the delectable mountains. They're warned by shepherds that they're soon going to encounter enchanted ground. Beware, beware, they said. Beware of sleeping there, for he who sleeps on the enchanted ground will never wake again. And sure enough, when these two pilgrims arrived there, they could scarcely keep their eyelids open. Hopeful begged Christian for just a short rest, but Christian would not hear of it. And in those moments of weariness, when sleep hung heavy on Hopeful's brow, he begins to quote the words of Habakkuk. I will stand upon my watch. I will set me upon the tower. I will watch to see what he will say to me. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hopeful, what are you doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I can't solve the problem, but I'm going to keep my eyes wide open. I'm going to watch for any movement in the heavenlies. I'm going to look for any sign, any shadow that means the approach of a solution. I will listen for the divine whisper. I will listen for the still small voice of God. No matter how low he speaks, I will watch to see what he says to me. Watchfulness. That's the seldom cheated. People that are watchful are seldom cheated of the vision that God has for them. Their vigilance is usually rewarded. Watch for it, watch for it. Then I want you to notice one more thing, and then I'll hasten on and let you get on to your Friday. I want you to notice the patience of a faltering faith. Habakkuk not only demonstrated possessiveness and vigilance as the cure for a faltering faith, he also had patience. God told Habakkuk that what he desired to see would come in its appointed time. You remember those beautiful words, though it tarry, wait for it. Though it tarry, wait for it. Wait and see. Wait and see. God's not finished with you yet. God's not done. He's painting. He's like that artist that had a habit when he finished up at the studio each and every day. People were curious about the painting, but the artist would cover it with a heavy veil and put a little placard, a little sign that said, wait and you shall see. And I tell this morning devotion family, wait and you shall see. Wait. The masterpiece is unfolding. God is working his plan. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. It doth not yet appear what we shall be. But I know this. We know that when he appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Wait and see. I will wait to see what the Lord says. So the mysteries of life, the cure for a faltering faith, is this suspended judgment that says, though it tarry, I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see. And I will tell you this. I know people, and I know people here in morning devotion, long before it actually comes to pass in your heart and in your spirit, through the eyes of faith, you saw it coming long before it actually walked into your life. Yes, wait and see. God told Habakkuk that when the vision does come, be prepared. Pass it on. When I bring it to pass, write the vision, make it plain upon the tablets, that he may run that readeth it. In other words, when the answer comes, be prepared to get out here on morning devotion and shout, it happened. What I've been praying for, what I've been believing for, it has happened. because in so doing, you're sharing the power of not a faltering faith, but a rediscovered faith. I like. So write it on the tablets, make it plain, and so that people can run. Mary pondered the angel's words in her heart. Then she ran and told Elizabeth. Yes. So get your possessiveness about it. I've got a responsibility. No matter how many questions I have, no matter how much my faith falters, I'm going to stand until I understand. Then get a vigilance. I'm going to watch to see what he says to me. And then get some patience. I will wait. And though the vision tarry, I will wait. And he's going to reveal himself to me. That's the cure. That's the cure for a faltering faith. I pray today that your faith be restored. I pray that if you have more question marks than exclamation points, that today begins to turn the tide and you see God do amazing things in your life. You guys are incredible. YouTubers, subscribe, Facebook, follow. Please share. Get the word out. Go. Have an amazing weekend, and may the Lord be with you. Thank you for being a part of the Morning Devotion.
Thank you for listening to Morning Devotion with Ken Gurley. Join us next time for another inspiring devotion. To support this ministry, please visit firstchurch.com/give.